Am I good? My name is Somto, and this is my Spotlight interview. I was born on the 27th of June. We're going to leave it at that. What are my hobbies? I have a lot of hobbies. I'm in that stage of life where I'm a hobby collector at the moment. So I draw, I paint, I crochet, I swim, I go to the gym, etc., etc., etc. Does trying new things count as a hobby? Okay, so I try new things. The historical books of the Old Testament is something I would say people should think about and talk about more. Do I have to give a reason? Okay. My personal opinion would be, so from the book of, say, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, the Samuels, the Kings, the Chronicles, everything in between Deuteronomy and I think Psalms, that would be the historical books if I'm correct. I think it's really important for people to engage more with those books of the Bible, have more conversations about it, because the beauty of it is it exists to show the real and the raw mistakes that people made in the past in terms of their walk with God rather, or just in terms of their lifestyle in general. And it's there for us to actually learn from it. I believe that the more we indulge in reading these books, studying these books, the less mistakes we would make, or the less mistakes we would make again and again and again. One thing. Have something to look forward to outside of your everyday life. So if you're in school or you work, or you're a stay-at-home parent, have something at the end of the day to look forward to. For scholars and workers, it could be, an event in the evening, or a hobby, or a dance class, something just out of the ordinary. I believe personally that creates a balance in your work and your life in such a way that it's not just a parallel, go to school, go to work, go home. It's more go to school. Oh, there's a surprise at the end of a school day, then go home. So it creates a more colorful lifestyle, I would say. My unpopular opinion goes thus. Which camera am I looking at? I'm gonna look at that one, that far one over there. My unpopular opinion goes thus. Pralines and cream is a better ice cream flavor than cookies and cream. Next question, please. Yeah. A lesson that I would like people to take away from my life so far. There is always room for improvement. That's something my dad taught me. Shout out. What does biblical community mean to me? It means agape, love that puts others above oneself, not in a toxic way though, in a way that causes both you to grow and the community you are in to grow as well. Yeah, the kind of love that Jesus showed to his disciples, to the people around him, where he truly wanted better things for them. And it wasn't in the sense of, patronizing them. It was more, I love you enough to let you come as you are, but I love you too much to let you remain as you are, because you can be so much better. So having that kind of mindset amongst a whole community, you'd be surprised at how much you can grow from that. Yeah. How has a biblical community helped me? That was the question, yeah? To encompass it in one word, growth. For sure. Having a community means you will experience the ups and downs of being around people. So I have grown in terms of dealing with, or in terms of celebrating the ups and then dealing with the downs. Because it's people, there's always going to be tension. But then the beauty of being in a community that moves with the love of Christ, that moves by the statutes of the Bible, means, yes, there may be tough times or strains or tensions, but then you truly do grow from that. You understand how to handle things better, how to respond to individual people better. And It's also taught me to celebrate wins, to move with empathy, I believe would be the word. Yeah. There's a Bible verse that says, rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. I have learned to genuinely celebrate the wins of the people around me, genuinely hope for good things for them, pray for good things for them, pray for good things with them. And it all comes from a standpoint of true love, no shadows, no envy. And that's not something that you're born with, I believe. I don't believe it's something you're born with. I believe it's something that being around a certain type of community, being around a certain type of people teaches you. Sila. What is my favorite scripture and why? Truth be told, I don't have a favorite scripture. But two scriptures that have been on my mind recently, just because of the stage of life I'm in, would be one, Genesis 40 verse 27, the second part of it, where I believe Isaac, yes, it was Isaac. He's blessing Esau after Jacob had already stolen Esau's blessing. And, he says a lot of things beforehand that, Esau's going to live by the sword. Esau's going to go through a whole lot of shebangery. He's going to live like a wild donkey and everybody's going to be against him. It's just a lot. But then that second part of Genesis 40 verse 27 says, but when you decide to break free, when you decide, you will lose this yoke from your neck. Something along that line. Somto's international version. That's my paraphrasal. Yeah, that's one that sticks with me nowadays. It reminds me that many things actually are not left to chance. Many things depend on you. And it depends on you in that your mind is a starting point. Yeah, so it's when you decide that you make the effort to make that change. That's one verse. The second one is John 14, I believe, verse 12. Jesus is talking to his disciples, if I remember correctly. And in it, he says something along the lines of, greater things than these shall you do. And I'm like, yeah. I like it because it's a reminder for me in my everyday life to set the bar really high, because I wanna build a community where I wanna be part of building a community where we do so well and we're so successful that our kids come along and they see success as the standard, they see success as a norm. And it would be easy for me to just be like, you see how far I've gotten? You are gonna do better. But then I've gotten that far, by his grace, obviously. Yeah, so those are two verses that have been on my mind lately, sticking with me. Genesis 40:27b and John 14 verse 12, if I'm correct. If I'm not, whoever's editing this, help me out. One thing I would like to leave you with, exhale. Remember to exhale. Don't hold your breath too long, if that makes sense. Take the tension off. Sometimes life really is not that hard. Sometimes it's not that difficult. Again, it all starts with your mind. But yeah, exhale. All right. My name is Somto, and this was my spotlight interview. Okay.